Hey guys, Ian with Greenspan Realty. We all saw today the Fed wrapped up their meeting and we got the first of hopefully 3 cuts that we were kind of all anticipating. What does that mean? A lot of people have been asking, do I buy now? Do I wait?
This is hard. I am in a pickle.
I personally have been in the camp preaching that we're in a window of opportunity right now.
What's that smell?
A cologne?
No.
Opportunity.
Before continuous rate cuts, especially going into spring with a new Fed chair, there's a good opportunity to get in with less competition. Wanted to start a new series where I start tapping in some personal friends and professionals in different sectors that I work with to get their professional opinion and their take on things. So I had an interview early yesterday with a good buddy, Darius Sepehripour, who's the CEO of Kind Home Loans. So let's jump to that and let's hear what he has to say. All right, Darius, my friend, how are you?
I'm great, Ian. How are you, my man?
I'm good. I'm good. I appreciate you taking the time.
Absolutely.
Um, yeah, so I just wanted to get you on a quick call. Obviously, want to put together this quick video. Obviously, what I'm seeing, what I've been telling my clients on why now is such a good time to buy and how there is like a window of opportunity, given obviously with what just happened with the Fed meeting, and then obviously a new chair coming in spring. But obviously, a truly wise man knows what he doesn't know. So I wanted to tap in, a professional like yourself and kind of get your thoughts. So yeah, it's if you wanna tell everybody a little bit about yourself, and then we can jump right in.
Sure. So it's my 22nd year in the business. I got my license when I was 18 and I just turned 40 on Friday. So it's been
Like fine wine.
oh man, yeah. I woke up with a backache, which was fun. I was like, it's got to be a joke. But I've been doing this a long time, and I've seen all kinds of markets, and it's been a little bit weird over the last couple of years. I feel like the real estate market has been finding out who it is. But as of the last 3 to 4 months, it's been a very great market for a lot of my buyers. One thing that I'm seeing quite a bit of are concessions. And again, these have been happening for about 3 to 4 months. And these concessions be everything from, you know, getting a home at a lower price, getting a discount on price, having the sellers cover your entire closing costs. People don't realize that when you buy a home, you've got your down payment and you've got closing costs. And that's typically around 2% of the purchase price, depending on what price you're buying at. And I'm seeing some of my clients get a trifecta, and what that trifecta is they're getting a price discount, they are getting a rate buy down where sellers are
Wow.
actually paying for the rates to come down, and they're getting some sort of closing cost help, if not all closing cost help, and they're getting pretty sweet deals right now. Now you said it, the rates are coming down, quarter drop. There's rumors that there's going to be 2 other quarter drops coming pretty quickly here as well. These drops don't happen instantly. They're priced into the market. So we've been
Yeah.
seeing better rates over the last 2, 3 weeks. People are starting to refinance again. There's people that have 7, 8% rates. Now we can get them 5, 6% rates.
Wow.
So, a lot of people are coming into the market and trying to get in while they can get concessions before it gets a little bit crowded. Because there have been a lot of people that have been on the sidelines since COVID that haven't been able to buy the home that they need to buy for their families because their families may have outgrown the house, or maybe they've needed to relocate for work or whatever it may be, just because it's been a little bit more difficult to afford something. Now that affordability is coming back a little bit, I think we are going to see, and I'm already seeing it, multiple offers on homes that are priced well and maybe a little bit less concession help.
Yeah. I'm dealing with that on a couple deals myself right now, and it's the past 6 to 12 months. It hasn't been obviously in the lower price points you still get a lot of competition, but in that like 1.5 to 2, it's like now things after a week it's, hey, we got 4 offers and we're putting it on hold. And it's like and I've been trying to explain to people like, hey, if what I think is going to happen in spring, obviously bigger picture, the administration wants to cut down rates, for the national debt, which is obviously going to affect mortgage rates. We get into the fives. It's I don't think it's going to be a you know 2020 2021 situation, but all those people that are sitting on the sideline saying, Oh, well, I'm waiting for a better rate. Yes, so is the other 200,000 people looking at the same house you want. Um, so I personally, and I know you're in a couple different markets, but here in LA, I really am, whether it's and obviously we've still been seeing, buyer's agent commissions getting covered, whether it's buy downs, whether it's credits towards closing costs, repairs, like you said, it's right now, I feel like it really is the opportunity to save as much money as possible. And then, you'll have an opportunity to refi, probably early to mid next year anyways, and potentially win twice. Um, are you seeing that in both your markets?
In all my markets. I mean, I'm based. I mean, my office is based out of Beverly Hills in California. California is my number one market. It's been my number one market for 20 years. I'm in major metropolitan cities like the Dallas market. I'm seeing a lot more movement, a lot more excitement. In Florida, it's been kind of a mixed bag.
Yeah,
It just depends on the market. But California has been my busiest market, Los Angeles specifically, and it's this is the thing is people have to really understand, like, if you're going to buy a home, do a little bit of research yourself. Don't, you can listen to us, you can listen to people on
yeah,
television, but do your own research and kind of see how many times in the history of the real estate market have rates been in the 2-3% range. Not many.
yeah. I've seen it
Not
once.
Yeah, it's same with me. In my tenure, it's happened one time. And really, the healthiest real estate markets where I feel like buyers are doing well and sellers are doing well is that
Yeah,
market between 4 and 6%.
yeah. It's the most balanced. Um, and that's, I mean, honestly, that's when more sellers are going to be open to listing, which is going to offset that influx of new buyers. And then it's the only time there's a potential for a win-win. But when we see a sharp decrease, suddenly that's when everybody's like, oh, this is my opportunity, which, yeah, you saved, half a point, but you had to bid 75 grand over asking. So,
That's
it's
that's
like,
the thing. I always recommend, get pre-approved. The conversations that I have with a lot of potential buyers are very powerful conversations, and they get very excited. I'm not, pitching them to go and buy a home. I'm just showing them plain black and white numbers. Like, these are the numbers. If you save 1%, right? But you're buying the home at 50 to 100K more, like,
crazy.
you're better off, getting a concession right now and just waiting and refinancing. Or, I mean, I've got certain programs where for year one, year two, year three, people are getting 2, 3, 4% interest rates for the starting of their loan. And there's a cap. So it's not going to continue to go up, and they can refinance at any time. So eventually, once the market rate is kind of where they're at or below, they can refinance into a 30-year fixed, right? So there's a
Yeah.
lot of creative programs that the lenders have had over the last year, but right now more so than ever. I mean, we're seeing sellers really help contribute to buyer success, right? And a lot of these sellers are getting the same kind of deals when they're buying their home. So
Yeah.
it's there have been a lot of wins, right? And if you look at real estate as a whole over the last 20 years, you see that prices just they go up. They're going to continue to go up. They're not going
Yeah.
to crash. They're not going to stop. So if you can kind of get a discount on property right now, if you can get a seller paid buy down and get some sort of incentivized rate, if you can get your closing costs covered, you can save hundreds of thousands of dollars over the course of your loan.
Yeah. It's and to touch on the first thing you said is obviously putting yourself in a position to essentially negotiate up front. Obviously, you have to be pre-approved, but and I know we've chatted about this before, but I'm always urging people to get a fully underwritten pre-approval, which gives you so much more leverage in the buying process to help offset if there is a bidding war. If you want to go in and kind of chat about the fully underwritten pre-approval with like a TBD property and kind
Yeah.
of all the benefits of that, especially on negotiating up front in, like, say, for instance, a four offer situation.
Absolutely, absolutely. So the one thing that I kind of want to point out that people don't realize how easy it is to get pre-approved, or at least how easy it is to get an idea of what you could potentially qualify for. I mean,
Yeah,
I've had conversations in 5 minutes where people have had that light bulb, like, aha moment, like, oh wow, that's all like it takes to get qualified, and like I can actually afford something right now. So the pre-approval process, is the first step of the process. We hop on a call. I ask you pretty much four questions. How's your credit score? How much do you have saved for a down payment? What's your annual income or combined household income for the year? And what is like the ceiling of what you want to pay on a monthly basis? Because a lot of times people will qualify for more than what they want to pay. So we find that perfect budget for you. This is great because it helps set up the proper expectations without any concessions. So we are going shopping without concessions. Any concessions we can then get are just added bonuses, which minimize your out-of-pocket
Yeah.
costs, which minimize your monthly payments, which really help you get a low rate right out the gate. What we do is once we kind of have that conversation and you get excited and you realize like, hey, buying a home right now is very feasible and there's a lot of benefits of buying right now compared to waiting for rates to drop. Then we collect some documentation within 24 hours. My underwriter reviews the documentation. We do a soft credit check, not a hard credit check. Does not affect your score. There's no inquiries. You're going to be great there. It doesn't cost you anything. There's no obligation, right? Or timeline of when you need to buy. In fact, you don't even have to work with me if you find a better rate or program down the line. But it's just setting up proper expectations for you. So when you're shopping for a house, you know what to expect. And then if you find something that you like and there's, concessions that are, to be had, we can definitely put those into the offer and write a very tight knit offer where we've already reviewed your file with underwriting. So your offer is almost as good as cash. That gives
Yeah.
you a lot of leverage, a lot of leverage.
Yeah.
We can write with no loan contingency. We can write 17 to 20-day closes. And if you're in one of those situations where it's like, yeah, I'm currently renting and I'll need some time, 60-day notice to get away from my current property. What people don't realize is once we close escrow, your payment isn't due right away. It's typically
Yeah.
30 to 60 days until you get your first payment because the lender knows that there's a transitionary period of you going from your current residence to your new residence, and they don't want to
Yeah.
bombard you and start you off in a difficult situation. So it's a really easy process. It doesn't cost you anything, just a little bit of time, and it's definitely worth it if you've been thinking about buying a house.
Yeah, because you're basically just getting the documents you're going to need anyways, just upfront. And then, like you said, being able to waive loan, appraisal, and shorten that contingency and shorten escrow is, I mean, coming in like that, if nobody else is fully underwritten, they all need 30 days. Like that's a big leg up,
Yeah,
especially in a multiple offer situation. And it
yeah,
gives you the opportunity where it's, hey, we're offering a little less, but we're
yeah.
closing, basically closing in 2 weeks, and all we need to do is an inspection. Like that's huge.
Absolutely. No,
Yeah.
it does definitely help because keep in mind, the highest offer isn't always the best offer. You know this. You sell a lot of homes, Ian,
Yeah.
and you're looking through the offers, and as you sift through them, you kind of look at like, hey, this one is 10 grand higher, but they want 60 days to close. They're doing like a loan that's a little bit more risky of a product, whereas this other client is 10 grand less, but they have no loan contingency, and they are able to,
Yeah.
close quick and easy, right? So experienced agents like yourself, you go through these offers and you see these things. So when you're a buyer and you're writing your offer, you want to have a clean, strategic offer that Ian and I can put together and really put you in the best position to not only win the property, but maybe even get some really great concessions at the same time.
Yeah. It really is. I mean, I'm always telling people it's very important. One, the agent you pick, but also their Rolodex as well, lenders, inspectors, everything else, because everybody's working together. And if you have somebody who can jump on a call at the drop of a hat, because I've been on both sides, and whether I'm writing an offer or if I'm receiving offers, the person whose lender calls me right away and is walking me through like, hey, this is where we're at. They're here at underwriting. This is the product we're doing. It's like, oh, this guy actually knows what he's talking about and he's actually going to get it closed. That person, even if it's not the highest price, um, that person's automatically going to be held at a different standard because, it's if you're selling a home at the end of the day, it's like your obligation is to the sellers and making sure it gets closed. So anything you can do on the buy side to, to line people up to be the clear cut favorite of all the offers, which is a myriad of things like we just discussed.
Mhm.
I mean, that's huge. It goes so much beyond just price, and trying to educate people on that is, that's what we're looking to do.
Yeah, yeah. No, I've
Yeah.
had people who have lower down payments, like 3% down or only 5% down options against 20% down options. But because we did the underwriting prior, we were able to write with no loan contingency and like a 17-day close.
Yeah.
And at our 3% down offers accepted over 20 or 25% down offers because we can close quick, right? You never know what a seller situation is. And Ian, when you get on calls, I know that you're speaking to the agents representing the sellers and saying, hey, what is the perfect offer for your seller? And bringing that information back to myself as well as the buyers. And that way, like I said, we can strategically put together an offer that's going to help our buyers who maybe aren't as strong as other buyers, but we can still put a strong offer together that will help us, have a foot in the race essentially.
Yeah. And like you said, I think that's a pretty common misconception is so many people are like, oh, well, I don't have 20% down. You don't need 20% down. I mean, obviously on different types, you might, have to have a certain amount, but there's so many different products out there. Like you said, 3.5 FHA, I mean, 3 to 5% on conventional. I mean, there's so many ways. And obviously, I mean, I don't know if you want to get into, PMI and,
Yeah.
there's also ways to work with that too. I just wrote on something the other day and it's, you know, great neighborhood,
Mm.
all original, mild
Yep.
fixer. They're going to fix it up. And I'm like, when you refi, based on the equity, the comps they're going to use, that PMI is going to fall off anyways, you
Absolutely.
know?
Absolutely.
So
And just so everyone knows, too, this is really important. There's zero down programs, right? And not only FHA zero down programs, conventional zero down programs as well. I have clients where we structure the offer where they're literally moving into their home and they have no
mhm,
down payment, no closing costs, out of pocket. They're literally putting nothing out of their pocket besides maybe an inspection fee, which can be a few $100. And then they have no payment for 30 to 60 days. And, so it could actually be more expensive up front to rent a place with first and last month deposit,
yeah,
rather than buying a house. And at least, you're paying down a mortgage. And this is the question I always get, like, what do you think about the rates? Well, look, if you're renting, you're paying 100% interest. So
yeah,
6% ain't bad, 5% ain't bad if you're
yeah,
paying. The cost of renting a home, let's say you rent for a decade, if you're paying 3 grand a month, right? That's, $36,000 a year, right? Over 10 years, you just threw away almost $400,000 where you could have put that towards your house. Not only does it appreciate in
exactly.
value, you've paid your loan down and you're building wealth. This is how wealth is built in real estate. So,
Yeah, that's what I always try to tell people. And I get it. I mean, everybody's timing is a little different. It's if you're in a position you have to rent for a bit to save up to get yourself in a position to buy a home. But the fact of the matter is if you're renting, it's like you're already paying a mortgage. It's just somebody else's,
absolutely.
you
Yeah.
know.
And
So
tax benefits. You have the tax benefits of owning as well too. You can
yeah,
write off a certain amount of your interest. I mean, my
yeah.
CPA always tells
Home
me,
office.
there you go. Exactly. My CPA told me 10 years ago before I was married, she's like, Darius, you need to get married. She said, Darius, you need to buy more property. And Darius, you need to have children. And I said, in what order? So she, now it's funny. Now at this moment in my life, all three of those have been accomplished. But I was at a juncture where I was just giving the government so much of my money because I wasn't being
Yeah,
smart. So, these things have homeownership has so many benefits, and we can talk about it until we're blue in the faces. But this is why we do what we do, right? It's one of the only things truly where I feel like when I close a deal, I know I did good by the client and I know that they're going to be happy long term with this purchase because there's so many things that people sell out there that they're not happy about selling, or they don't know if it's going to benefit the client. 99% of the time, like, my clients are ecstatic and have a fantastic, home that they bought and they're really excited about it. And it does wonders for them financially. And then eventually down the line, they leverage that property. They leverage the property and they're
yeah.
able to buy other properties, or they're able to, leverage cash and borrow at a low rate and pay off other high interest debts like 20% credit card
Oh
payment,
yeah,
whatever it may be. So your home can not only help you create wealth, it can also help you mitigate and minimize really high interest debts over time, because life happens. So,
yeah, yeah. No, those are all great points. And I think at least what I'm seeing, I'm already seeing quite a few things pick up around here, and even people who've been on the sideline that, I've been chatting with for some time, are all getting off the sideline already.
mhm.
And I think it's just going to continue. I think the next few years are going to be, if all goes well, with our boy Jerome Powell, but it's looking like rates are going to continue to come down, and I think I mean, realistically, just with year over year appreciation, like you said, renting is just flushing money down the toilet, it's always a good time to buy. The best time is 20 years ago. Second best time is right now. But I
Yeah.
truly think in this moment, like we're in a window of opportunity before next spring where people can really get some deals. And
Yeah.
even on the sell side, I don't know about you, but I've got a couple listings coming up, and if you stage things correctly, you present them correctly, and you price them correctly, and then market them correctly, you're going to get a ton of offers. If you're in a good area, it's like people want to be in these areas. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
Absolutely. The market is having a nice correction, and it's right now, I'm telling you, like night I'm doing a lot more volume than I have in the past, 24 months. And 90% of my buyers, I can truly say this, are getting some sort of concession,
yeah,
some sort of benefit. And if you ask me this question in 2021, 2022, I would say 100% of my buyers are getting no concession and maybe even
brutal.
over ask. I had clients that were paying $200,000 above asking price, right? To get a 2% or 3% rate. Well, if you paid $200,000 less and had a 4 or 5% rate, your payment's going to be a lot less.
I had a couple that wrote $250,000 over asking, and we didn't even get a response. We weren't even the third backup.
But
Like
people
that's
were
how
excited
crazy that
about that
time was.
market. Yeah, but this is the thing: is these are the conversations that need to be had. Is like, it was a very weird market in 2020,
Yeah,
2020. I thought the market was going to crash when I heard that the world was shutting down due to
yeah,
COVID, and it didn't. It did the exact opposite. It was so busy. So it's, I think we're in a good position. If, buyers that have been thinking about it, definitely take a look at it. Sellers that have been stuck in that house where, they've outgrown the home and they're ready to have a family and they're moving from a condo to a house, or they need an extra bedroom, or they need to relocate for work. Now's a good time to kind of get your home on the market, price it properly to get a lot of
yeah,
interest, get a good offer, and find another house where you might be able to get concessions. So it's kind of in a healthy place right now.
yeah, yeah. I'm seeing a lot of that. A lot of the my clients from like even just 2020, 2021 that, they got their first condo and they loved it. But now they have two kids and they're like, we're in a two-bedroom condo with two kids, and this is my nightmare. And I think with rates, if we can get back into the fives, I think, yeah, going from 3 to 7, that's tough. 3 to 5, 3 to 5 with a buy down, not that bad,
Yeah.
and the amount of equity between 2020 to now, you got to put it to work. It's useless till you use it. So I
Absolutely.
uh I'm super optimistic about the market moving forward. And I just want to get some, an outside opinion from somebody who does a lot more mortgages than I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, no, I really appreciate it. And yeah, if any other tips, advice, anything else, yeah, feel free to let me know. And
Yeah. The only thing I would
uh,
say, honestly, and well, thanks for having me first and foremost. I appreciate it. It's always good to chat with you.
yeah,
But the main thing is it doesn't cost you anything but maybe an hour or two of your time to see what's possible, to see what's feasible. And look, if your credit isn't there, I have an in-house credit team that helps your credit get to where it needs to be. And it doesn't cost you anything, right? I help so many clients. I've had clients where it's taken 3, 4 years to get them in a position to buy, right? But it's taking that first step, right? And you'd be surprised. Credit standards are pretty low. We can work with as low as a 550, technically, 550 credit
hmm
score. So I can put you on a roadmap to qualification, but you got to take the first step. And that's just a quick 5-minute call with me. And, I'll ask you a few questions and you tell me what you're worried about. And we can kind of go over those details, iron them out, and put you on a roadmap to eventually buying a property. It is definitely a good time right now. I would absolutely recommend it if you can still get concessions, which you can on a lot of properties.
yeah,
Take advantage of them because they will not last as these rates come down.
yeah. Amen, brother. Awesome. Darius, I appreciate it
I
as
appreciate you more, man.
always.
You
Yeah,
have a wonderful day, and look forward to chatting soon and grabbing some coffee and getting together.
awesome. Definitely. I'll give you a shout.
All right, man.
All right,
Cheers.
brother.
Have a good
All
one.
right.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, guys. Well, I hope you found that both informative and educational. If you did, please like and subscribe. And if there's anybody else you'd like to see me interview, if you have any questions at all, shoot me a DM, drop it in the comments below, and I will see you guys on the next one. Take it easy.